Welcome to another episode of Optometry Profits Revealed. I'm your host, Peter Brecht, and today I am blessed to be with Tom Sasso. Tom has been in eye care 8 years. He started in 2018. He's got an amazing history, which we're going to walk through, and I want Tom to explain. But Tom's got glasses, and you don't have to go 5,000 miles to see him. Without any further ado, Tom Sasso, good to see you.
Good to see you, Pete. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. When I got your message, I got real jazzed up.
These are important discussions, and we were just talking, like I always do with guests, that not only to walk through your journey, but to talk about the work that you're doing on TikTok and the social media impact that you have. Very unique. So talk about your journey. You're a New Jersey guy, so you relocated to Michigan, and that's when you became an optician, right?
Yeah, so in like 2017, I was working for a friend of mine in New Jersey. She's an optometrist, family-owned optometry practice. They were hiring. I was miserable working where I was and needed something new. And I worked in the admin side. So I was like upstairs. It was an old house. I was upstairs in a small office, answering phones and digitizing charts from the 1970s to today. And I hated it because that's not what I wanted to do. I'm a people person, but I loved the people I worked with there. So it was kind of a toss up. And then 2018 hit around. My ex-wife and I decided we were moving to Michigan for grad school, and we moved. As I'm looking for a job, thinking, what do I want to do? I just looked in optometry. I'm like, well, at least I know all the terms and everything right now.
Right.
And a local optometrist was hiring an optician. I'm like, yeah, I could do that. So I interviewed there. We were visiting for a week and arrived on a Sunday. I'm in Holland, Michigan. So like right on Lake Michigan on the west side. And I interviewed, and then I canceled every other interview I had the rest of the week. I felt like that was my place, and it was. I was there for 7 years almost, and their only optician. Within a year of working there, I started studying for my ABO certification, got that on the first go. And then probably 2 years into it, everything changed. I met reps and designers for independent eyewear, and my passion of what glasses could be exploded. And I was just moving and moving and moving. I became good friends with an owner of 24 years they've been in business, optical shop downtown, standalone. And he started kind of mentoring me outside of that and showing me what frames could be and troubleshooting issues I was running into and just becoming a good friend. And then a year ago, like a week and a half ago, I left my job of 7 years, took a position managing a optical for an optometry practice about a half hour away from my house. And I wanted to see what management was like. I have 4 opticians that are on my team, and the ages range, I mean, from early 20s to I think mid 50s.
Wow.
And it's a pretty standard optometry practice for an independent optometry practice, but it's a cool team there. And then I started working very part-time at my friend's shop, and I do all their social media. I do my social media. I bounce around as much as I can, going to every trade show I can. So like I do Eyeball in Palm Springs. I do the Loft in New York. If Vision Expo is conveniently located, I'll go.
All right.
I'll be doing Northeast Optical Show in October. That's in DC this time.
All right.
10K Frame Show Minneapolis. I am, fingers crossed, breaking news, booking my flight to Silmo in Paris in the next week or so.
Nice.
So I became obsessed with what I do. Really hard. Like, this is my personal frame collection.
That's what I was just gonna say. You're not even at work.
It goes up. So like there's about like 65 frames there. Mostly all of them have an updated prescription in them. Some of them aren't my style anymore, so they're not in rotation. But like I became obsessed with what I do as an optician, and I've realized, oh, all these years watching Project Runway, I love fashion too. Okay.
Well, and we're certainly going to spend a lot of time talking about social media. But is that where your social media journey really began? Was it after you left the place you were at for 7 years and got into the boutique environment?
It was kind of in the flux. So like it was probably 3 years ago I started with the idea of doing a social media thing. And it was just me walking into my frames. That was a very small collection comparatively. showing a frame, putting it on, smiling, and that was it.
Right.
There was really nothing to it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started going to the trade shows and meeting people and having fun. Tom's Got Glasses started in the midst of a very sad time when I was going through a divorce, and I found joy. I was putting frames on and dancing in my living room. And that's how it started. And I thought, oh, like, I'm happy doing this. And then I found opticians that just don't love what they do, but they're still opticians. And it shifted of like, hey guys, like, we're doing something really cool. Opticianry Opticianry is the least recognized job. No one knows what I do if I tell them I meet them on the street.
That's the
And
truth.
we're doing really unique things. I like to explain what we do this way. We are helping provide vision for people, which, if we don't value our vision, I don't think we've dealt with not having good vision. So we're helping provide vision, but we're also building people up and helping self-esteem. There is no better feeling when I'm with a patient or a customer and they tell me, Tom, I hate wearing glasses. And I just ask why. I don't like the way I look. Great. That is such an easy thing to fix.
Right.
We find a frame, we spend the time. We get to know what's your closet look like? What's your style like? What are your
Right.
goals? And then we find the frame for them. And then when they put them on, we get their lenses made. We're done. They put them on and they look at themselves. And a lot of times in West Michigan, people don't like to really show emotion. I'm from New Jersey. I cry all the time. I'm an emotional boy. You get the little smirk, my heart explodes. And if it's a certain type of person, it's just like, girl, this is it. See, look how beautiful you are. I love telling our customers and patients how good they look. And I won't lie to them. I will never lie to them.
Well, and again, a lot of what you're describing was the entire premise in an original business idea to create I See Clearly, to have the video call connect, because I saw the reactions that you were describing. You know, I'm in a dispensary in my safety days, you know, waiting to talk with somebody, and I'm watching what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking, how can that amazing skill coming out of her, how can I take that to Maryland or Pennsylvania, or, you know?
Yeah.
And the reality is that making it portable was the only thing that came to my mind. But you have a really amazing approach on TikTok, because you talk about that relationship with the patient, and you talk about, forget the selling, get to the relationship. You just talked about a tiny little reaction on someone's face, a little eye, you know, and
Yeah.
how, you know, you're reaching them in a different way than maybe than they've ever experienced. And to me, that is where optician work is even different than the fashion, than the medical. There's a human element that cannot be replaced. And while the intimacy tends to be very highly associated with that dark room and which one's better, this or that, and of course it's intimate in there, but the truth is, we know just as many that are way more excited to be in that dispensary, or even those, like you talked about a situation a moment ago where the person's like, glasses again, like it's, you know, it's like it's a chore. It's like going to the dentist. Sorry, dentistry, but it's, you know, that's that, you know, it shouldn't be a pain. It should
And the
be
amount of people
mentally
that are like,
uplifting.
I went to a CE event and someone was talking about like the things that people most dread doing, purchases. And it's like buying a house, buying a car, buying glasses.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. It is hard. If you're on your own, I hate frame boards. In like in the retail world, this is not how glasses should be displayed. It's just a wall where I think everything just looks the same. You get lost. I think shelves with multiple tiers, cool merchandising, beyond the point. When you go to buy glasses as a consumer, you're overwhelmed. You see a room with hundreds of frames and you don't know where to start. And that's our job. That is our job to say, well, before we even look at frames, and this is where opticians fail, and I've talked to opticians about this, before we look at frames, talk to the consumer. Get to know them. Get to know what their wardrobe's like, what work is like, what lifestyle is like. Like, I don't do outdoors like a lot of people. I don't like camping or hiking, or I like going on a boat. That's relaxing, but I don't like fishing. Like, I like certain things, but I'm on Lake Michigan. We have a huge lake life here.
Right.
Well, we need to talk about what polarized lenses can be and what frames are going to stay on their face when they're finally out on the boat cruising, and that's not going to fly. You need to figure out how people live, and that is going to help determine the frame. Not everybody I know wants to wear a beautiful rainbow pride frame from Blake Kuwahara, but they might want to wear a much, safer classic moto frame that you
Right.
can wear every day.
Right.
Not everyone wants something that's flashy and over the top. I do, but you need to learn that from people because I can't style every person in what I want to wear. I have to put my personal preferences aside. And opticians, do it. Like, get over yourself.
Right. Well, it can be challenging when opticians endlessly joke about fitting an engineer, but
It's the worst.
well, when you do have that monotone, the no expressions,
Mm-hmm.
that can be challenging to cope with. But you just talked about it. There's always there's a gift there because when you do see a little, all you need is a little.
Yeah, you just need a
All
little.
all you need is a little.
It's
Then you're really paying attention to the mood enhancers
yeah,
and how that is going to relate to their life in a
yeah,
secondarily way, But discussions you've had, like you said, preliminarily before you're going through actual frames,
yeah,
which is so cool. Talk briefly about you talked about inheriting an inventory mess and
yeah,
your approach to going through that, which I thought was really kind of cool. So we want to talk about a couple of different frame lines real quick, but go ahead and do that. If you could give me
yeah,
just your take on how to clean up an inventory mess that a lot of opticians are looking at right now.
yeah. So at the doc's office I was at, they had a ton, like a metric ton of backstock of frames. And it took time to figure out why. And I think their intention was good. And I want to say this, the intention behind that staff was very good. If a patient wanted to see a frame in a different color, they would order it for them. If they want, but when we're doing that for 10, 15 patients a week or, whatever, you're getting a ton of back stock, and you can't people don't realize you can't just return
Right.
frames. That's not really a thing, especially when you get in the independents. You're not getting a one-for-one exchange. You can't just return it based on patient approval. Some companies, and I'm not going to name names because I think some of these numbers are ridiculous, are like you want to return a frame, you got to buy 15.
Right.
It's
Right.
crazy, but I also get it. So I had several hundred, I would say, backstock frames. And what I did was when I became the optical manager there, I called all of our reps and I set up meetings. I'm like, I know some of you because I've worked with you in the past. I've met you in the past. I'm the optical manager here. And if we're going to have a relationship, I don't look at rep relationships as transactional. I look at it as a partnership and a relationship, because if our reps work with us and we work with them, our patient's happy. And I said, if we're going to do this, I've inherited a problem. I have a lot of frames, and a lot of them are not going to sell. I worked my little New Jersey talking magic of let's exchange some of these for top sellers in 2 colors each. Or like right now, I hate sales. I hate doing a sale. But we have frames that aren't moving, and I'm looking to bring in new collections. So I've marked down a ton of frames for the month of August, but it's just selling off the board. Everyone's scared where I work, not everyone, but a handful of people are scared of having openings on our frame boards because we have
Right.
frame boards there. And I'm like, it's okay. We can merchandise those. We can put shelves in with POP or with little signs of like transitions. I love a photochromic lens. So let's just put things about that around. Let's put information about an anti-reflective treatment or myopia management or business cards for the doctor. Like, let's just have things around. We can fill those shelves with stuff where it doesn't look messy. Let's get rid of our inventory. Let's just sell down 100 frames off the board and then order 100 new ones that our patients haven't seen. And it's going
Right.
well. I have 30 frames in backstock from one company only because I moved where they were and they have less board space. And they only have less board space because how they're displayed now shows the frames better. So I'm okay having 20 or 30 frames or whatever from this collection that I love. and I love our rep for them, I'm okay having not as many out if the frames are being shown better.
Right. I don't really know the answer to this, but can social media help with that understock somehow?
Yes, I would say yes. We don't, so that office, I don't do any of their social media. I'm expensive to do social media.
Well,
And
yeah, and we really didn't even announce that. That's your side. That's your major side
that's
gig is
that's a
social
side gig,
media
yeah.
management. Well, and you got a very strong presence on Instagram and TikTok.
I had a Dude, I had a crazy 2 months. Like I made a video on frame fit and a couple follow-up videos from it, and my views, my reach, followers, interactions, the DMs exploded, and it hit a point where I'm talking to industry people all the time now with questions. I consider myself an expert. I am not the best. There is always going to be people better. I want to be very clear. I love learning from people, and I appreciate humbly people asking me questions, especially people that have been in the industry longer than I have.
All right.
So I want to be clear of, I don't think I'm better than anyone. I think I'm damn good at what I do, but it's a team thing. If opticians start taking care and helping other opticians and we stop gatekeeping, our industry, our profession will explode.
Well, you offer a different type of education too, because a lot of your TikTok posts are talking in an educational way to opticians. I said this jokingly in an email to you, but a lot of times you're like, wham, you're like right there.
Yeah. So
I love that. Well, it reminds me of those times where I'm in a class and I'm like,
yeah.
and now I'm paying attention. It grabs attention. The one that comes to mind right off the top of my head was this you debunk a myth really really quick, and
Mm-hmm.
and we're all guilty of this, where
Yeah.
someone's my size or maybe your size and they're asking for that 47i, and
Yeah.
you held up the kid's frame and then you put your glasses on. It's like and
Mm-hmm.
we know it, but we don't think about it. We don't know and connect this is me, this is my script. Look at a 47i on me. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Now I get
Yeah.
it. Now
And
I
then let me put
see
a 62 eye on. Like they fit me. I mean, this is
exactly,
I don't
exactly.
even know. It's like a 49 and I have a 63 up there. Like
That's
yeah.
really, really, really cool. I've seen Rick Peralta do that too, but
I love Rick Peralta.
the two of you, I think the array of frames that you're willing to mix in and out, you're
Yeah.
comfortably showing that an A measurement isn't the end all be all,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's super
taken into
cool to me.
consideration for sure.
Hmm.
But like I feel like the A measurement is geared towards the lab more than anyone.
Right.
Like you
Yeah,
need to know lens size,
completely.
but lens size doesn't equate to frame size.
No. No, fit, the how close, PD, shape of face,
Yeah.
East men from Eastern Europe. There's a short distance from frame front to ear. I don't know why, but that
Yeah.
tends to be common there, And then as opposed to here in
Hmm.
America, where we need the 140s and the 145s, and
Yeah.
it's just it's different. You talked about a couple of really cool frame lines, and I want to give you a chance to kind of expound on them. You mentioned Woody's, you mentioned Rain. I forget the last one that you mentioned, but are these are coming
Yeah.
in now, or are you working with them now?
So I am very fortunate in the doc's office I'm at where they're trusting me to bring in more independent collections. And I'm very fortunate for the boutique I work at for introducing me to independent collections. So like at the doc's office, I just brought in Woody's like 3 months ago, and we have sold through our first order already. And it's for them, it's a more conservative office. It's a more fiscally conservative as well as fashion conservative. It's bringing in a pop of color and pop of something new. Rain Eyewear, I'm meeting with them next week, and I don't tell anyone I'm buying them because it's a phenomenal price point for a very high quality and incredibly wearable frame in an array of colors that are more geared towards neutrals, like tortoises, blacks, crystal greens, things of that sort. Blackfin is just Italian made titanium. I want to bring in the fun stuff there. That's not really going to move. But like the stuff at the boutique, this is my Masahiro Maruyama frame. You're not going to get this at a doctor's office. This is a little extravagant.
Right.
And I've had privilege of spending time with him, with Blake Kuwahara. There's frame designers that change the game. When frames are thoughtfully designed, it feels better.
Talk, talk, talk to me about the connecting of social media, the fashion that you've been showing me,
Yeah.
and how to know what is going to move in what environment.
Yeah. That's the hard thing, right? Like, so I started working in a town that living in Michigan 8 years. I had never been to the town that I'm working in for the doctor's office. So it's a half hour away in Jenison, Michigan, right outside of Grand Rapids. I had never stepped foot in Jenison, Michigan. I knew nothing about it. I knew it was conservative, and that's fine. But I had to spend probably my first 2 months figuring out our demographic there. It's an
Right.
older demographic that is a little more concerned with money, but I think it's really because no one has ever talked to them about why something costs what it does, whether it's lens design or frame. Because guess what? Progressives, presbyopes, you better know not every progressive lens is designed and made the same. I'm sorry, it's not. Lens folks, polycarbonate, not one polycarbonate lens on this wall. I don't do polycarbonate. I don't care about saving you $30 or whatever your VSP copay. I don't care. I want you to see better. I don't even talk polycarbonate unless it's a really fiscally conservative person or just it's not in their budget. Fine, I will work with you.
They mention it.
Yeah, or they mention it. And then I love having the opportunity. Well, actually, there's materials there that light just moves through better. And there's science behind it proving my point that it's just better quality of vision. And I want you to see well. I'd rather you spend the money on great lenses for you,
Right.
and we can maybe go with a frame that still looks good on you, but is more cost effective.
Makes sense.
So the first move I did when I became the manager there was their frames were organized by gender and gender only. I don't gender frames. I took every frame off the board and put them by collection. And to this day, I mean, a year later, where are the guys' frames? Where are the girls' frames? They're on the sales floor. They're all guys' frames and they're all girl frames. Well, what do you mean? I'm like, are there traditionally feminine shapes? Of course. Are there traditionally masculine shapes? I might say no. But most frames are unisex. And if you want an honest opinion, it's our job to tell you, well, that frame does show a little feminine on you. Or in West Michigan, we have a very high Dutch population where I live. I live in Holland, Michigan. A lot of Dutch women are bigger women. They're taller. They have broader features. Do you know the worst thing you could do to a woman is say, hey, none of these frames fit. Let's go look at the men's section. It's not cool.
I shouldn't laugh. No,
it's funny because that's just what happens.
Right.
And it just everything. I mean, Pete, we've talked before this. Everything's about the relationship.
Right.
And I think taking down any barrier from a patient or a customer from feeling like they're being treated with the dignity that they inherently deserve is going to hurt that relationship. I mean, I don't want to take a woman to the men's section. I don't want to take a man to the women's section because people are really worried about that.
This is a board design where you've wiped that off. That's not even going to be an option.
Yeah.
You can't not be there and have an optician do that because you've taken it out of the mix,
It's gone.
And that's those social components, those social interactive skills really ought to be a series of CEs. Good luck getting them approved, but I will say this, it can happen.
I'm working on some of that, actually.
Well, and to me, it's the missing component. You hit on it very, very succinctly. There's a couple of TikTok posts. I almost wish I could play one right now.
Mm-hmm.
But where it is, you basically are saying, listen, to me, it's a natural relationship because of where I come from, because of how I am, because of what I do, because of how I interact with everybody I'm working with.
Yeah. To
you, they're all relationships. And again, that becomes natural. I think it's a little bit natural for me. I don't want to, make it a geographical thing, but both of my parents were from New York. You're a New Jersey guy. I think there's an element and a component of that middle Atlantic where just openly talking, breaking down some barriers. Some people are naturally good at it, but
no one's a stranger.
but it should be able to be taught, because even that person that's walking the big woman over to the men's frames, they may not even think in their head that they're doing something wrong. They're in fact, they may think I'm doing my job right, but are you?
But are you?
I mean,
But are you?
the unspoken element that
Yeah.
you address this openly. How do you feel like you notice that? And how much of that do you think plays into how you manage social media for anyone?
I'm more on a specific side of how I live my life and how I treat people and the communities in which I'm a part of. And I would say so in West Michigan, it was really interesting when I started asking people what their preferred pronoun is and figuring out who they are. So when I greet people, I don't usually say, hi, miss, hello, ma'am, hi, sir. I say, or if it's like a group of people, hi, folks. I try to use more gender neutral terms when I'm speaking with people, especially out here because there is a large LGBTQ community and they are a little bit more low key on things. And hey, I don't know what you prefer to be called, what name you prefer, what pronoun you prefer. I'm going to ask. And when I do things on social media, I want to create this, like, because of what I believe in, a level of radical inclusivity.
All right.
Whether you agree with things that I really value and find important or you don't, I want to create a space in my Tom's Got Glasses social media world where we break down gender norms, racial barriers, socioeconomic barriers, age barriers, because that's a huge one that people don't think about, where it's a place where I want people in my comment threads interacting with each other. I have people that have followed my personal Facebook who vehemently disagree with a lot of who I am inherently as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine.
All right.
Are they my friends? No. But can I maybe, by who I am on social media and real life, be like, hey, we just need to treat people better.
Well,
I want it to go outside of optics, but we just need to treat people better.
well,
We're opticians, we're in the people game.
one of the interesting dialogues that comes up quite a bit in these podcast interviews is what you're talking about, how people are treated. I'm talking to somebody who's 28 years old or 25, and they say, I exclusively order glasses online.
Yeah, great.
How do you exclusively order anything a particular way when you're 25? That's the bad side of being almost 60. You don't want to laugh at that, because that when someone says their whole life and it's been 20 years, but
It's been 20 years and they've been an adult for 4 years.
right. But let's read between that. If they're exclusively making a purchase that way, there's a chance that there's a purchase that they made another way that didn't go well.
That didn't go well.
And there's a chance that they were mistreated based on the
Yeah.
dialogues that you and I have seen. So I view your work as a way of championing the breaking down of that.
Thank you.
And well, it's what we should all be doing. Hey, it isn't fun to watch your best customer walk in with a set of glasses that they purchased online and they're not going well.
Yeah.
But rather than turn that into a stinky cheese moment, you have an opportunity to make that moment you.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
About you. And opticians want to bang their chest, but they don't take the opportunities when they're sitting in front of them to do it.
It's okay to tell people you're an expert at what you do. It's okay to do that.
Absolutely.
I love the idea of, like, that conversation. I exclusively go online. And to follow up, like, a lot of the reasons, because I ask people why you do this or why not try us, at whatever. Why wouldn't you? And a lot of the answers for online I get is, well, I get very anxious of doing it. I've never had anyone help me, so I could just do it by myself. I can't find anything I can afford or anything I like. I can return them online. There's a million reasons. I have a love-hate relationship with online glasses sales, right? Like, I get it. They are able to offer things to you at a price point that will put me out of business. And not everyone has it in their budget to be able to afford quality eyewear. I have helped a number of people through the online ordering process.
All right.
whether
Well,
they're my friends or my patients. And I hate it because they're not buying from me, but I will, opticians don't gatekeep patients' PDs. Don't do it. You look like a jerk. If someone asks for their pupillary distance, hey, I will be happy to give that to you. And then guess what? You can say, if you'd like, when you get your glasses, I will gladly take a look to make sure that the prescription's right. Because when you do that, guess what happens more times than not? It's not right.
yeah.
It's not right.
Or even if it is, look at the work you just did.
Yeah,
If
you
it checks
form
out, fine.
trust.
That's not a bad thing. It shows that your willingness to follow through because their vision is what matters more to you
Yeah,
than anything
you're not my
else.
customer, but you're still a patient at the office.
Right.
You're still a human being.
Well,
I repair and adjust people's glasses that I've never met or seen
right.
or made a
Right.
purchase with in my life because it's my job and I don't charge people for adjustments. I don't charge people for PDs. It's just being a decent person and they remember that experience. If they have a crap experience with online, they might maybe come back to you. Great. If they don't, also fine.
You just talked about having those constant dialogues with people. If you know someone's ordered online, you don't like not ask questions, or if you're out in a restaurant, you're like, yeah, screw them. I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
You're the other way around. You're like me. It's like, how did that go?
How did it go? What made it easy for you? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Because if there's something that they really like about ordering online that I can do in person, it helps me learn how to grow as an optician.
Absolutely.
If there's something they hated, I can say, hey, actually, if you come see me at place X, Y, or Z, that won't happen.
Right.
And I don't make promises to people ever because then I look like a jerk if I could get them here for you in a week. Well, it's 8 days. Now I've failed. I can definitely do this for you. No, hey, let me give it my best shot and we'll see what we can do. I
Right.
can promise people things that won't happen when they work with me. I can. There's certain things that I can promise. I can promise that I'm going to get to know you, that I'm going to do everything I can to find a frame that fits you, but you also love. And I'm going to give you an honest opinion and tell you no on a frame that doesn't fit you. I will tell you, I love telling people no. Like, well, why? I go, well, it doesn't fit you. Or you're a -8 and you want a 65i metal aviator
Right.
with a 63B measurement and you want it in polycarbonate without AR. Well, no, I'm not going to do that for you.
But there is a takeaway because you've got an idea what they're gravitating towards.
Yeah.
So now you know where to meet them in between there. You kind of described it just a moment ago, but I added a new segment and asked my guests to tell an online ordering story. And
Yeah.
you sort of told one. If you have a different one, by all
Yeah.
means,
I've got some funny
share.
ones. One that's not an ordering story, but I found an online frame like glasses place that is just literally stealing designs from independent designers. And I have actively been doing everything I can to get them shut down. And we've got a bunch of industry people just like, hey, just like sending the email to our friends who design, like, hey, just so you know, this website has literally stolen your design and a little signature piece that you put in every frame. So that's a whole thing. So that's why I hate
Well,
online things because
well,
there's a lack of creativity.
to me, there's a big open window there for the very specific theft of shape, size, and design with 3D printing.
Yeah.
And this is an area where I think the industry needs to come together. It's great to have all these diversities of frame lines. Well, I remember the frames book was a phone book in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's all digital. But now that it's digital, they need to be galvanizing to stop what you just talked about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting all these different guys to come together, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
If their designs and shapes are being stolen,
You just show up at their warehouse as an Italian from New Jersey. I bring my baseball bat. We show up at their warehouse and take them out. No. But to answer your question, online, this is one go-to I like to do. I had a patient once years ago come in with a frame from an online site I had never heard of, and I feel like I'm pretty familiar with most of them. And I don't want to name names because that's not how I roll.
right?
But I asked, they brought him in. They're like, hey, Tom, these don't fit at all. And they didn't. The frame was an awful fit. I'm like, I can try, but I felt the frame. And as opticians, you can pick up a frame, you can touch it and be like, Lord. And they said, well, when I ordered, they said, bring them to your local optician and they will gladly, for free, adjust and get your frame fitting you perfectly. And you know what? I will gladly do. I will huff and puff when I'm not around you because I hate doing that because they tell you it's for free.
Right.
But I didn't tell you. I want to tell you it's for free.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I can adjust this. Let me check the prescription, see where things are lining up. And it was a relatively significant myopia prescription. It was like a -4 with like maybe like 1 3/4 cylinder in like
Wow.
each eye, something around that. So it was a decent prescription.
Yeah.
And decentration is a worry of mine. So like I took their measurements before I did anything. I dotted the lenses when I read it in the lens meter. And I'm like, first and foremost, your prescription is 7 millimeters off from
Good
where you need to
Lord.
be. And then I'm like, I can't fix that. I can tell you what it should be. And I go, you're also about 20 degrees wrong in your axis, which like depends on who you ask. To me, that's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
some people will let it go, but the more significant the prescription, that degree is a lot worse. So they're like, can you just adjust them so they don't fall off my face? I will try. I heated up this temple because this is the only adjustment. You know, I hate the like, oh, I'll just bend it behind the ear. I hate that being the only thing people do.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there was nothing else I felt like I could do. So I put it in the frame warmer, and I'm very mindful of this. I burn my hands all the time because I'm warming and I'm touching and I'm warming and I'm touching.
Right.
And I went to move the frame, the temple, and that frame just went whoop. It just, I mean, instead of just bending it here, it literally expanded. That there was no metal shot in that temple, and I know better, and I should have. But I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. And I didn't heat things like I don't think I even heated it as long as I normally would have heated a frame, and it just fell apart in my hands. So that was like one patient, a frame that fell apart, and a prescription that was terribly wrong. And then I have another, my friend, I took her pupillary distance. She does not wear her glasses often at all. And she said, Tom, I just need a really cheap pair of glasses. And I said, I will help you. And it broke my heart to do it, but I helped her. I took her pupillary distance. We went online. I showed her some shapes that I thought would work with her, and she got a frame. And I was pleasantly surprised that her frame and her lenses were pretty close to spot on. Like the frame, I kind of had an idea because it's what I do.
Right.
I can't control the lenses, and I was very happy. And with her wearing them maybe twice a week, okay, I was very pleased. I'm like, hey, like just so you know, like these came out pretty good. You could wear these all the time if you wanted, but she has such a minimal prescription.
Right.
Like minimal, like to where insurance would be laughing saying, yeah, we're not covering this. You know,
Those are the scenarios that are they're more often a win for anyone who's in a challenging place to get glasses online. There is, and I've spoken about this over and over again, there's definitely a misperception amongst the internal part of the industry that, people are only going to buy online for price. It is a factor. But, when you know that the average sale at America's Best, 2 pair and an eye exam for $69 to $80 or $170 or whatever it is now, you know, that's people know what to expect. They know, what's going in and what's not. Pretty direct. It's the same kind of thing exists in the equity purchasing world, where I'll tell this story very quickly, but sometimes there can be a corporate disconnect in these purchasing environments where they'll come in and buy, and they immediately want to try and correct pricing. And the reality is that if you come in as an EP and you're thrusting this, $99 pairs on billboards when the entire community has been used to be paying $500-$600 at these 3 opticals that you just purchased, you've offended the entire town. And you didn't even realize you're just trying to be pair for $99 without doing any of your demographic research. Those billboards came down quick. And, I'm not going to name the town or the place, but that was a major cluster bleep that didn't really need to happen had some homework been done about what you were actually buying, So
It's
The
creating value. It's
right,
creating value. And
right, right.
that's what we can in the industry do really. We don't always do really well. I can sell someone a frame that's wholesale cost is $14.
Right.
And I can sell someone a frame that's wholesale cost is $1,000. I'm talking wholesale. These are not retail numbers. I can talk to the customer about the difference in quality and why, not even quality, why there's a difference. Injection mold versus a sheet of handmade acetate. The design process, the fact that you're supporting an actual designer and not some AI generated frame design that is being mass produced as quickly and as poorly as possible,
Uh-oh.
taking time to cure and to happen, or why Nina Muir frames are made of wood and how there's zero stock. Nina Muir has zero stock in her frames. If you order frames, they are made to order because it's sustainable. We're not wasting wood, cutting shapes and doing all this stuff
Mm,
for things that haven't sold yet.
that's really
Let's
cool.
cut it as needed.
That's cool.
So there's a difference in process that we can create value in. And that's just frames. Lenses are even more important to create value
Right. I
because
agree.
people don't realize not every single vision lens is the same, not every material, anti-reflective treatment, progressive lens, and my favorite is photochromic. Not every photochromic lens is made the same. I had transitions, I hated them. Well, when did you have transition? 2002. Okay, do you still have your iPhone from 2000? Because technology changes. I had progressives and I hated them. When was the last time you had them? 2008. Okay, great. Where did you get them? Online. Well, let me tell you why progressive lenses cost what they cost and how it's going to change your vision and the measurements that I, the expert, am going to take to help ensure that your vision is going to work with this.
Right.
Creating value. It's very easy if we know what we're talking about.
Right. Between that and building around the relationships, you separate what you do. You also talk about that a lot on social media, which I think is absolutely critical. Would you say there's a different social media approach from where you, for instance, spent your first 7 years
Mhm.
as opposed to the boutique environment?
Yes. So the boutique I'm at is really cool doing their social media because like we can tell the story of the frame of the designer because we're friends with the designers
Right.
and showcasing more of the little intricate details of things. It's really cool when we get customers that are like, "Oh my god, I saw the frame on your Instagram. I need it." Great. I do a frame of the week, or we do. I'm not the only one on video. We do a frame of the week. And my goal is at some point, someone's going to say, I saw that frame of the week.
Hmm.
I want it. Because at the boutique, we sell it, it's gone. We don't reorder frames there. And
That's
that
cool.
my goal is I'm going to highlight a frame one week, and I'm only there on Mondays. So by next Monday, someone comes in, I go in there and I'm like, where's the frame? They're like, oh, so and so saw the video and they're like, I needed that frame. So they came in and bought it. And then like we get to share stories of so Bob is the owner of Globe Design and Vision in Holland, Michigan. He is surrogate family to me. He's been in the industry for literally forever. Globe's been there 24 years, sharing stories of what our industry looked like 20, 30 years ago
It
to what it is now is really cool.
is.
And that's where like the independent thing is because we could kind of do whatever we want there. Bob and I create videos sometimes where he just looks so surly and uninterested in my existence, and it's just for fun, and we can be playful in a way that I think in a more clinical environment you can't. And it can play off my social media with Globe's social media where we're just having a damn good time. And it's really fun. Like I document all of our travels to the frame shows for them and put together little recaps of time with the designer and showing our customers how we pick out what we're purchasing. Because people don't know that, like what that
No, they
process
don't.
is like. They're
No,
like,
they
oh,
don't.
they just send you frames. No, we touch every frame that we're going to buy and we figure out why we want it.
You just told a really cool story though about an integration of someone seeing a frame on social media and then being first in line to get there and purchase it.
Yeah.
You know, And then if I were to ask to tell that story even 25 years ago or back, it can't be done. That scenario can't happen pre 2001. Around 2003 or 4 or 5 is when virtual try-on got introduced in clothing and things like that. But
Yeah.
again, took a very, very long time to get pulled and introduced, and it still has bizarre limited use, which I don't really understand in a lot of sales environments. That is really a fascinating thing to say, that scenario you just described. Social media, saw a frame, went and got a frame. How can we compare that to how business was done when that guy started his lab?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some comparison, but not really like that. Short of an optician going and showing frames face to
Yeah.
face. And we know the on-site optician did actually exist in the early 1900s.
I would love to be a mobile optician.
That,
I would love, pay me to come to your house. I will bring you trays of frames that I think will work, and we will get you fitted. You don't even need to leave your home. Just pay for my flight, get me a meal, and give me a little bit of extra money, and we're good.
There's a optician, well, there's several that do this, and most of them do it in rural and smaller communities that do it at any successful, and they're embedding safety eyewear fittings at plants and all these other things, because that's how they're making a living. You bring up an interesting thing. There's a couple in large cities. Toronto is the one that comes to mind. There's a woman in Toronto who has an absolute mobile boutique.
Yeah.
I mean, she goes up into high rises and sells two sets of glasses to husband and wife, 12 pairs of glasses, and she's made enough money for 6 months and she's good to go. And I mean, but she's there. They don't have to worry about it. It's all done in their living room, and they have more money than they know what to do with. They're probably known people. If you're like a local athlete, it's not always cool to just be able to waltz on it. Some people like it and want to do that, but you can't always just waltz into a place, and have a normal exchange. It just can't happen. So,
at the office I was at in New Jersey, we had a very famous singer as a patient and a very famous TV person as a patient. And we were very mindful of, hey, so-and-so's coming in today. Just so we're all remember, keep it in your pants. It's okay. Like, don't make a big deal about this. Like, they're normal people and we will treat them as such. Because it's hard for some of these people to go out in the regular world and go to their doctor's appointment, go to get coffee, go to do these things. And like, I mean, I'm literally from where Bruce Springsteen's from. You see Bruce walking around. Leave him alone. Like, say hi. You can say hi to people, but like, don't follow them. Don't make a huge... Usually they're out grocery shopping, getting a coffee, doing a normal thing. Treat them as such. So like when we had these people, I'm going to very frankly say, celebrities come into my office in New Jersey I was at, like, I had some of the best conversations with them because I didn't treat them any different. Would I have loved to, at this point in my career, be like, hey, Tom, I really need new glasses. Can you come over? Oh, yes. It's my dream. I have 2 optical dreams. It's to style Bruce Springsteen in a pair of glasses. That is my #1 optical dream. And the other is to do like a New York Fashion Week, tag team with a designer. I do the glasses, they do the outfits, and just do it that way. And like, those are my goals. You don't have to be in your shop to do that. They're huge goals. I mean, I have 8 Bruce Springsteen tattoos. I'm a little obsessed.
They're very obtainable goals. And he certainly needs glasses these days, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah. And I've seen him wearing glasses, and I'm like, oof, Bruce, baby, come see me.
You mentioned that you sold a plethora of Meta. How has
I sold 2 Meta.
Oh, I thought it was more than that. I thought there was few that came in and you... Okay, you got rid of them.
I am trying to not work with them. So I am very...
So you got rid of them, you didn't sell them. You got rid of them. Okay. Just for clarity.
It might ruffle, I don't know any, partnerships with whoever, but like, I am wildly against the vast majority of people getting Meta glasses. I believe that there are instances for folks with low vision, hearing issues, things of that sort where it makes sense.
Right.
I think that right now, those glasses are being tampered with too much, and it's creating unsafe situations for people, and I don't like recording people without consent, and it allows that too much. The nuanced glasses, I have not worked with, but I know people who have. 100% get those hearing glasses. I love that. And I've referred people to Meta because I know your father is very low vision. It makes sense for me. I am not a fan of Luxottica in any way, and I'm very open about it.
Right.
I think that there will be a time where the AI glasses make more sense, and I don't think we're there yet.
Well, your Ray-Ban sales are around the industry. They're deliberately placed in your Best Buys, your Micro Centers,
Yes.
your electronics stores.
And when our wholesale cost is almost what they're selling them for direct to consumer, why am I going to sell them?
Right. Well, every reason that you said is true. However, the marketing is madly insane. There's two things: number of people that want Ray-Ban slapped on their lens, and also the number of people that just want smart eyewear. Now, I just want to say this real quick. I heard a scenario this past week that impressed me about smart eyewear, and it was essentially a roofer owner, small crew, just him and his crew, but he's able to field a phone call from the roof, and he wasn't able to do that before.
Yeah.
And that's a win. That could
It's
be
a win.
That could be the lost business right there. So
tattoo artists are using them at conventions when they're tattooing people.
Right.
That's why. So that's the only reason I brought these in at the doc's office was because I had a tattoo artist explicitly ask me if I can order him a pair of Meta glasses because he's got a bunch of conventions coming up and he really wants to use them to create content for his socials for it. And I said, absolutely. You know what? Sure.
Very cool.
And then he ghosted me.
Well, he's data driven. He probably had to fix his car or something. But you know,
no, he got him somewhere else.
Oh, that's but you know, the reality is that it is something that isn't going to deplete. People are going to ask about it routinely. The marketing is so heavy for smart eyewear. There's a strong push and perception that the smart eyewear will literally replace this.
That's what they're saying.
Well, but not everyone wears glasses. And, you know,
exactly.
by the same token, you know, the nice thing about this is being able to put it down and walk away from it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you need your glasses to see or whatever may be the case, I worry about the embedding. I worry about a prescribed item suddenly being used for something else.
Yeah. And there's things about it I'm not stoked on.
Completely. We could talk for an hour about this, but it's not going to go away. I definitely want the topic to be discussed. But I also want to ask you, 8 years in, give us a good technology experience that you've had and a bad one. Yeah.
Photochromics. I'm just going to say it. In 8 years, photochromics have changed so dramatically.
They have. They really have.
And of all of these, I think I have like 25 pairs with a photochromic lens of some sort in it. They're not all made the same, and I can bash certain manufacturers and praise others. Transitions has not always been great. Transitions brand photochromics have not always been great. Gen S came out, and I lost my mind. I bought like 12 pairs in the first 2 months that it came out. It is so much faster to dark. It is so much faster to clear. The color options are incredible. I'm a Trivex boy. They need to start making colors in Trivex because that's a negative. It's a limited thing.
Why?
So I like CR39 as well. So I'll do CR39 all day for colors and things of that sort.
Right.
Photochromics have really improved. Zeiss has done a really good job with. The Zeiss Burgundy is stupid good. And I have nothing but good things to say about it. I've done the Burgundy with the Duragold AR, and it just looks awesome. Photochromics, I think, has been, for me personally, because I'm not a presbyope, I don't wear a progressive. For me personally, photochromics has gone from a really negative stigma to younger people are starting to wear them, and they're having fun. And it's the same with tinted lenses. I love a lens tint. I love fashion tints. I love feeling just some sort of way. And that's becoming a thing. That blush tint on the bottom of a lens is so cute. So I'm going to say photochromics and tints in general, huge uplift in technology in the industry. And I'm going to say a negative in technology. I think people are getting opticians are getting too reliant on technology doing their job. whether it's the digital measurements, which is, I'm not against them, but the
Right,
digital
right.
measurements, a plug and play progressive, not figure, like we're relying on, yes, the lens technology has grown so well, but like not everyone is a plug and play progressive wearer. Some people need for their lifestyle a short, fast corridor. Or, and like a lot of folks I think have gotten so easy of, we're just using this lens design. We're not thinking about customization. It's not a bad thing technology wise, but it's a bad thing when we stop really thinking about the technology and like, why are we fitting people in this lens design? Like, I want my job to be easier. I want my staff's job to be easier. But I also want us to understand, well, not everyone's plug and play.
No, they're not. But we're in a unique time because people do an enormous amount of research, and I mean, there's very specific driving wear lenses that have really come across the screen. You mentioned Zeiss's that have a spectacular drive safe lens. That
Yeah.
those driving products are known by consumers when they arrive. It's a different world in that regard, and I I enjoy looking forward to a day when this becomes natural nuance. So as soon as
Yeah.
someone books an appointment, all they're given is their first, middle, and last name, and all the other data is ding, and including, in a perfect world, people's nuances and like you mentioned, how they are as a human, you know, those types of exchanges are going to always be inherently just human. But being able to see them and reflect on them might bring out other memories. And to me, any time and place during the exchange that we can document and revisit later, which is exactly what a recorded session is when you're styling, with I See Clearly, that is the point, to look at it later and go back and say, look at what we were talking about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And
It
be
would be
able to
so nice to just,
review that with a person is unique.
well, and then
That
it's,
doesn't exist.
hey, how was that vacation you said you were going on last year? You said you and the family were going to Greece. Like,
Right.
how was that? Like, I would love to just be able to talk to people and then like have some sort of scribe putting in highlights from the conversation so I don't have to put notes in. But like, I love when I see someone's coming in or someone I know, especially the doctor's office, and I put notes in. Hey, Peter was going to Greece. And then like, oh, I know they're coming in today. They're on the schedule. Let me look up something about Greece so I can have something to talk about.
Right.
Hey, did you go see those houses with the roofs that everyone loves?
How was the
You know?
Parthenon? Yeah,
Did you
exactly.
did you sing Mamma Mia? Like, I don't know. Like, but it's to follow up. So like I think like you said, like that recorded conversation with it's I See Clearly,
Hmm.
like could be a really awesome thing to just be like, do you remember Peter last year when we were talking about this? Like
Right.
that is really
And
cool. And like,
again, I see these impacts in tiny levels and safety venues and whatnot where I can't share the stuff and I don't go down that road with my personals. But the truth is, that is a tool that can only be envisioned by being able to demonstrate it in front of people. So we're getting ready to do that in the oncoming weeks. But that is a tool that can be used very succinctly later on. I often would have a thought of somebody in a bad place, somebody who's quite sick, and
mhm,
maybe they have to style from a hospital, and then they're in remission, and then 2 years later, when they've got hair, they're looking back at this with their optician. You've got a relationship for life there, and that's the kind of thing that you fully understand. I think
yeah,
you understand this stuff at a little bit of a different level than maybe some of us that have been around a long time.
sure.
And how you connect that with social media and how you can help grow. It's, first of all, we didn't even get into the self branding of Tom's Got Glasses. I would love to have a conversation with you, and maybe even have you and Rick in on a conversation
Yeah.
to talk about your philosophy with this, because self branding and we mentioned a little bit of it earlier. Some of the best opticians that I've been around, I don't even know that well, but when they handed me a
Hmm.
card that says "Styled by Jules" or something like that, there's no indicators on that card where she's from or whatever. But the
Yeah.
truth is, she has an enormous amount of pride in the work that she did with you.
Yeah. I mean, you get like Rick is known for his branding. The Optician. She's doing the damn thing.
Right.
And then
Right.
the optical nomad, Heather, she's out in California,
Yep.
or no, Colorado. Like, there's people that are doing this branding, because when we realize we're creating, back to the value, we create value in the products, but we also create value in who we are. And if we are not branding ourselves,
Completely.
you're going to get people loyal to a brand that has nothing to do with you, that you're just selling. You want people to become loyal to your brand, to Whiteboard Pete. Like, I want people to know this. Like,
Right.
Tom's got glasses, optical Jedi, optician, optical nomad. Like, to do these things, it's not hard.
Right. It allows you to go into different personal lanes. It allows you to open up where you want to about yourself. Yeah. And it allows you to create a branded identity that can jive with how you believe, and that's, I think, the most unique thing, because sometimes if you're an optician in a place, you're really kind of identified with that place. And I'm a big supporter in opticians stepping up and branding themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I left the office I was at for 7 years, and I was getting stopped in the grocery store for like 3 months. Where are you? And it's crazy. It's like, my response was never, oh, you should leave where I was and come see me here.
Right.
It was always, I know that office is providing you great care. It was time for me to try something new. Here's where I am.
Right.
I would be happy to see you, but please, like, don't feel obligated to come and just see me.
Right.
Like, because I don't want to poach patients. That's not how I roll. I still refer people to the doctor who I worked for 7 years, and I no longer work there. I work for a different doctor, half hour away. But someone says, hey, Tom, I need an eye doctor. I tell them who to go to, because I worked for him, and he's good.
I think that's awesome. I know Woody's is carried by Heather, so that's definitely a shout out to Woody's and Heather's work, and hopefully I'll get her on here for a conversation one of these days.
You should.
Yeah,
she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, that'll definitely happen. Well, we've talked for more than an hour. Is there anything that you want to add to wrap this up?
Yeah. Optical people, guess what? We're doing something really cool. And I think next year is a time where I'm seeing a shift in opticians taking pride in opticianry.
Yes.
And I want to encourage all of the opticians out there to find other opticians and form relationships with them and share your wisdom and ask questions from other people. We're a team. This is not about me being better than you, you being better than me being better than them, whatever. We have to work together and support each other.
I love that message. It's certainly
the thing.
It's the message of the UOA. It's the best thing that's happening right now. And yeah, we're all going to be coming together and growing in different ways. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tom. I really appreciate it. This has been another episode of Optometry Profits Revealed. By all means, check out all of the links that will be in the show notes. Participate in the Profit Prescription Quiz if you want to get an idea how your practice ranks. We'll be happy to tell you. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.